Alright, so in this one, I am going to be reacting to Goresh's ranking the best characters in the game of part one of I was gonna say third anniversary, the fifth anniversary here, June 2023 edition. I am curious about what will be going on here. It's just my opinion, though. His own opinion. Obviously, we will have very different experiences, by the way, because he is in the JP queue, and that is more a passive queue of just, well, you play in a setting of AoE greens, or this, again, more passive setting, you will probably just end up winning, and it's very much a harder time. I would say GPQ is probably harder. I would say, actually, the NA queue is probably the easiest. I think EU queue is the hardest, then JPQ, then NA queue. I think that's how the queues go on their skill difficulty, because when the queues are open, I play against JP players sometimes as well, EU players, and those matches just go the longest, right? NA matches, they go pretty quick. You know, there's a lot of star gaps in NA as well. JP is notorious for having all these units 14 stars because they wail out on banners as well. So the opinions here will definitely be different. I can tell that. I've heard some talk about this so far, but I haven't seen anything yet. So let's just hop into it. Again, this is my opinion, his opinion. No one's correct, no one's incorrect. It's just what I'll take from it, what he took from his own experiences, etc., etc., etc. I'll begin now.
Hey guys, today we're going to be jumping into another installation of my top 10 units list for Dragon Ball Legends. Now, this is going to be the June 2023 edition. However, we potentially might get another list later this month when we get part 2 of Anniversary. We'll see. We'll see what kind of changes
This is just
happen
part
in the
one,
meta. But this is a June 2023 edition, but this might be part 1 of 2. So in a few
there's
weeks, we'll
chapters
see.
down
But
here, actually.
yeah, just keep in mind that's when this video is releasing. So if you guys are watching this in the future, just remember that. And so, as always, I'm going to discuss 3 points before we jump in. Number 1.
Okay. So I know the 3 points. It's all 14 stars. Yada yada yada. Best equips. Yada yada yada. Let's just jump into number 10. Click it.
Starting off the list at number 10, we have the tag 4s.
Just to say, I completely agree. How I usually do these is if I completely agree, like I can at least see it, or like I just 100% put them the same exact spot for myself, I just skip it, because what's the discussion to be had? We have the same exact placement for the same exact unit. I honestly thought he put them a little bit higher, like 9 or 8, because he does not like AoE greens, and they are literally notorious for being their best part of their kit, besides the cover and all and the lower sub count, is that AoE green. Like combo extension wise, that AoE green is the most pesky thing in the entire world. So number 10, I agree with Goresh on the 4s. Yeah, there's no debate there for me. I do think they are hurt because GT is not GT anymore. It's really just Sun Family rerun them, but they are still very good as an individual unit, and Sun Family is at least culpable for them, right? Number 9.
To number 9. Okay, number 9, we have Revival UI. Definitely.
Okay. Do I have him higher? I think I have him 9 or 8, but I'm curious his reasonings. I know people don't like Rev UI, so I'm curious his reasonings on this as well. But I have him in this area, so I agree.
Value since the prior list due to the Universe Rep team just gaining extra tools and stuff like that.
Color coverage, right?
The reason why he's lower on this list than the prior list is just because I slotted 2 units higher on the list than this guy. It's just the way it is. I think he's really good. I think there actually is a pretty, I don't want to say massive divide between 10 and 9 tag 4s in this character, but I'd say there's a decently significant difference.
I get what he means, because there's a gap, because Sun, again, the team more than the unit, but like the team of where this Goku's at of uni reps is so gassed with the Jiren, LS17, this guy. It's a very good trio. It's a blast based uni reps. You can build strike base for blast based, strike base being hit, Goku, Frieza, Jiren. Jiren could be on either setup. Jiren, LS17, Rev UI. Honestly, it's very hard to rush because lower sub count by Jiren, then you have Rev UI who just be in and be as tedious as he is, and LS17 can't really get rushed by most units, so you're actually in a good spot. You also have coverage against 2 Ultras being hit and UGB being a setup you actually see decently, at least in my ladder. I see red, red, purple, not that often, but like red, red, purple hits and UGB. If I were running Blast Uni Reps with the team I just mentioned, actually pretty good. But team gap, I get that. Unit gap, honestly, 4s are probably better individually than
between this character and the tag 4s, especially with how much Universe Reps has been getting, you know, love recently with the anniversary, stuff like that. Jiren, Goku, and Frieza. So, have this guy number 9. I feel like, honestly, as well as this, like, especially, again, this is where my disclaimer at the beginning of the video comes in with the meta being different that I'm experiencing. I've been experiencing way less Gogeta Blues than I have in the past few seasons.
That's interesting. like I said, the ladders are different. I assume Kid Boo's the one running around over there in the JP ladder because I've seen so many clips of it. But it's probably Kid Boo Rose. I guess UGB took the backseat because Kid Boo is running around so much over there. I see a lot of Kid Boo, LS17, GT17. When I watch like an EU streamer or sometimes I see JP clips, it's a lot of that trio. So it makes a lot more sense where this guy doesn't really get hurt that much. LF17 existing, when this guy's value go up, though GT17 will exist. Jiren, as again, that protection for him, this guy would be
And I think that definitely gives this guy more credence to be used. And if you see less go like there's not really many other purple units you're running into that would give this guy like major problems.
Goku, Frieza, you're tagging
and I feel like once you get this guy revived into UI,
he does good damage.
Which if you guys have seen my God rank grind with the 17 this character and Goku and Frieza team, like you probably just want to get this guy into UI as soon as possible because you have enough Rising Rush defensive tools in your team to not really care about making the revive like your only Rising Rush defense. So once you get
it's really hard to rush blast
and you're not
reps or
constantly
like
fighting these monstrous Gogeta blue characters every single match, this character can can tear through the teams that you're fighting.
He's not wrong. I respect Rev UI now.
He's just hitting like a truck.
It
becomes pretty apparent how powerful this unit is, right? Once you aren't not fighting Gogeta blue every match. So this character's really good. Number 9 on the list. Move on to number 8. Okay, so here's where we're going to spend the majority of my explanation.
All right, well that makes sense. Number 8 for Goku Frieza. So I definitely disagree here. Once again, I'll keep mentioning this because this is something you got to point out. Maybe I should point out more in other videos, but I think the Q divide of like units to be used in XQ to YQ of like NA to JP to EU has never been so vast because I think it's more just like, again, these older ultras, not really many new units being run on JPQ. Comparably, every single match I'm seeing is uni reps, right? I'm seeing uni reps, or if not, maybe a one-off movies, a one-off hybrids, but like 90% of my matches, you're seeing it is me running against uni reps. So my opinion of Goku Frieza versus and using them is going to be a lot higher. So if he's not facing them as often, he can't really have that much, experience, right? I hard disagree, but I want to hear this because, wow, from number 8 to number 7 is 11 explanation. All right, let's listen.
On this list is with this character right here, number 8. Goku and Frieza, the new 5th anniversary headlining character. I have him at number 8 on the list. Now, before we get into the explanation, I will just say that I think this character, number 8, I think the character number 7, I think the character number 6, you can pretty much swap any of those positions. So this character can be as high as 6, I think, on my list.
High as 6. So me personally, I have him 4 because uni reps are just a lot better than movies right now. And Jiren's protection against movies, UGB, I've explained it a million times in my tier list video myself. So me, I have them 4. I have Jiren 5, them 4. I don't think that's actually debatable between the two. And I still stick by that opinion of that. So, okay, let me hear it.
And as low as 8. If you have this character up until 5 on your list, I think that's fair. I don't think anyone would be like, oh my god, like there's no way this character is number 5. Like I would be okay with that.
Okay.
In my experience, I don't think this character is good enough to warrant being number 5 on this list. But if you are somebody that has the character at 5, I wouldn't really argue against it because it's still pretty close up until the 5th spot. There's no like massive power jumps
difference.
or
I feel like for these next 3
spikes anywhere on this
it's
list.
Gonna be like individual, they're better,
but
then the team gap's gonna be crazy.
But yeah, I think this character being at number 8 on my list,
this unit will be better.
I don't want people to get upset at this. I just want you guys to remember, I did my God rank grind video. I fought 0 of this character.
As I mentioned, you aren't running into that. Yeah, you need experience against the unit to have a higher opinion of a unit, or like a more informed opinion, not higher opinion, because you could just think they're ass still. But the more you run into a unit, the more you get a realization of how good or bad they can be. If you don't run into them that often, you're not going to be like, oh, they're this top 3 unit. You're running into UGB every match. Back then, you thought he was top 1. Beast go on. Back then, you thought he was top 1. The same situation with this. It's
Anniversary headlining character part 1. I fought 0 of them. There's a reason for that. I think...
What is the reason?
When I'm thinking about my experience playing the game in the Japanese queue versus like someone's experience playing the game in the North American queue, I guess the biggest difference is just how prevalent Kid Buu is in the Japanese queue.
How did I call all this?
Kid Buu is like...
I called all this! I just said this! Yes, exactly my point. Kid Buu, the AoE demon, and I assume Kid Buu's probably number 2 or 1 at this rate, because he's mentioned here to not bring the new unit. I assume he's 1 or 2.
I don't know what they were thinking when they were like, okay, yeah, let's drop the like the best unit in the game. He's gonna be yellow, and he's gonna just completely,
I don't think he's
utterly
unit, yeah.
destroy
He's up there. He's
and
up there.
decimate and wall off this unit.
Yeah, stopping them
Like,
was
what were they
pretty
thinking?
stupid. This should have been. I'm just gonna point out they should have been purple red. Coverage. You want coverage. I get it. They have coverage for hit because like blue, red, purple. That's a team, right? It's kind of a team because you're not actually blue, red, purple. But like it's blue, red, purple. They want to hit coverage. I get it. But like for their own safety, should have been red, purple. Kid Buu, bro, he exists exactly the same exact thing I would think. But blue, purple is what happened.
Before the anniversary?
Yeah.
That's like if
Little
they
goofy.
made the tag androids blue.
They thought you should have hit. They thought just have hit already.
Goku came out. What is the thought process behind this?
Have hit.
And so, if you guys saw my God Rank Grind video, if you guys have just seen like my other normal showcase videos, you will notice how many Kid Boos I fight. It's literally every match. It's Kid Buu and Rose.
That's new uni reps!
Every single match. That's what it is.
Exactly.
I'm not saying this character can't compete when there's an enemy Kid Buu in the game because, Frieza's not purple, he's blue. Frieza, honestly, I do find myself being switched in with Frieza the majority of the time when using this character because I think the Frieza side is significantly better than the Goku side.
But yeah, okay. So I don't think people, I'm sure Goresh realizes this, but I don't think everyone realizes this, so I'll explain it. The Goku side is like the Vegeta of VT. So let me explain that further, I guess. The Goku side builds up. He gets the damage built up, and then when you swap to your Frieza, you got the cover null, right? So Frieza's the Trunks, Vegeta is the Goku. VT, Trunks has the cover null, it does a burst blast, he does very good damage. Vegeta builds up damage. So he's building that damage back up for Trunks to come back in and do even more damage. It's kind of weird that Trunks leads in that setting. Vegeta should be lead in that setting. But Goku is the Vegeta of VT. He's just building up damage for your Frieza to pop off. That's why you stay with Frieza, because you got so much buildup of damage from Goku already. Yeah, no, Frieza's just better. But Goku's not necessarily bad because of that. It's just, they had to make one worse than the other. I get that. It's every single tag unit. Maybe the androids are kind of like the hardest ones that are like differentiating between who's good, who's bad, 17 or 18. I guess 17 is technically a little worse because his green card's a long animation. But like neither are bad. Though as teams, I guess you run strike based, whatever. Probably 17, but it's such a small gap. The gap from Goku Frieza is actually pretty decent. It's not that big.
Biggest problems is Goku is just lacking
Goku
a
the
few
Force
extra
of
tools
Vegeta,
to
but
be
it's
able
not too
to
much.
feel as powerful as the Frieza
He needs
side.
cover null. Every unit needs cover null.
Even Frieza, type neutral against Kid Buu, gets torn to shreds. Frieza, guess who he's weak against? Rose.
It's also one last thing I'll mention, then I'll let him go off. So Goku heals per card done, and then tag out, right? Frieza heals after enemy attack is over. The thing is, at Frieza, he can spawn so many cards with his green. It would be a lot better if he healed per card done as well, instead of after enemy attack is over, because they want you to go back to Goku, so you heal. You have an incentive, right? Because you're doing cards. But then the Goku variant is worse than the Frieza variant. If Frieza healed per card done, they would not have such a big dilemma in their... I don't think they have a dilemma in durability, but they would have as much of a dilemma in durability as they already have now. That's their biggest... that's my biggest gripe with the Frieza. If he just healed per card like Goku did, whether it's 3%, 4%, 2%, something percent, it'd be so much better. Because then you're running Shield Bench with them. That's Health Restore. You're really amping that if you get that going. But they had to incentivize the Goku side a little more, which is... I get it, but it sucks for the unit itself.
See, almost as much as Kid Buu. Rose. It's just the Kid Buu and Rose game right now.
So those are 1 and 2, I'm guessing.
And it's
just
I don't know if this character is well equipped to deal with that level of ridiculous powerful ultra characters like Rose and Kid Buu. Especially when they have the upper hand against this character element-wise, type-wise, right? This character is really good, though. I think offensively, they are one of the most powerful offensive characters in the game. Even when they're not being shoved, they're not being shoved with Zenkai buffs. I will say, I have 2 really, really positive things to talk about with this character. The first one's going to be, I think their accessibility is A1. And what I mean by accessibility is their tags, the amount of teams that you can use them on.
Yeah.
And I think that does position themselves as one of the
couple.
better anniversary characters we've ever received, because this character is not only on Universe Reps, which is, I guess, supposed to be their main team.
Could do LOE, Sun Family.
I don't think it's their best team, but that's what the theme of the anniversary is. They're also on Sun Family. They're also on Saiyans. They're also on Lineage of Evil. They're also on Frieza Force. Like, they're on so many teams. And for a lot of these newer players or returning players who are seeking a character that is a good base to build a team around, this is a really, really good character to start with, because you have so many options. Like you
the whole banner is pretty solid.
You end up pulling
for new.
As much as I hate the character, Red LF Cooler. Okay, from there you have a good base for a Lineage of Evil team. Let's say you pull, I don't know,
great right now,
pulled Ultra Hit on his banner. I would recommend not summoning for Ultra Hit, but let's just say you did.
Same! Don't summon for Ultra Hit! I've said this, people don't listen. Everyone's summoning for Ultra Hit. All I'm seeing is fraud Ultra Hit clips running around on my fucking Twitter timeline. I'm like, bro, y'all did this. Y'all are running fraud-ass Ultra Hits with your fucking crit-based equips. I hate it. Stop summoning for Ultra Hit. You're making them look like a fraud. I've seen too many against me as well. I'm done seeing Ultra Fraud not killing Sword of Hope on a time skip, bro. Like, please.
There's a lot of paths you can go down with this unit, and I think that is a very, very big advantage that this character has. I don't know how much that factors into my placing on the list, but
probably not.
Design-wise, I think
because like you're not thinking about that for yourself, right?
And then the second thing is because of their double typing, right? This is the first character we've ever seen that actually has two distinct typings.
Yes.
Typically with
it's a very good thing.
With tag characters, they're one typing, and then when they tag into the other character, they become the reverse that typing. So, for example, the tag 4s start as a green character, right? The Goku side is green, and then when you tag into Vegeta, they become reverse green. This character changes their typing. So Goku starts out as purple, and then when he tags into Frieza, Frieza becomes a blue character. So this character actually has two different typings, purple and blue. And that opens them up to a lot of Zenkai buffs. It's actually in combination with their tag.
I thought it would be weird, and they do it terribly, which thankfully they didn't, that they do it where like, oh, okay, so the Goku side only gets the Zenkai buffs for the purple units that are Zenkai buffing him, or etc. The opposite for Frieza. But no, they made it where both sides get both Zenkai buffs for the X. So it's like a blue cooler. Well, Goku gets that Zenkai buff. Or it's Namek Goku. Goku gets that Zenkai buff. Or purple Frieza into Goku. Frieza gets that Zenkai buff. I thought it'd be a lot worse. I'm surprised as it was actually done well. Which is a W for Legends there.
Eggs, right? So you have two colors across two different... you have two elements, two typings across like 5 to 6 different tags.
Yeah.
So basically, every single tag this character has, they have access to characters that are Zenkai buffing purple or blue of that tag. So that is one of their biggest advantages as well. Is they have access to like 10 Zenkai buffs or something. They have like 10 to 12 Zenkai buffs they can choose from. So that is a big advantage for this character. But again, when it comes to strictly performance in the meta environment right now, when I mean meta environment, again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm talking about their best possible situation, fighting against other characters in their best possible situations, which is what you see in God Rank Grind here. 14-star Kid Boos, 14-star Rosés, etc.
I agree. They do struggle against that. There's no debate.
If they're really in that like super juiced up ultra territory, I would probably say they are not.
I agree. I don't think they're better than
and
Ultras.
I think most of those issues stem from Goku. I think Goku is lacking in a lot of areas that Frieza isn't necessarily lacking in. The biggest problem I have with Goku is his green card is really bad. I don't know. Do I want to call it really bad?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's situational. It doesn't have enough.
That's the worst.
It should have at least had cover null on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, because there's a lot of
Goku's green. If you want to up sub count by 3, so you could like there's some situations obviously it could be good, right? It's situational more than bad in my opinion, because while it's not great, I agree with that. Let's say you up sub count. Okay, you got a rush off that green card, then you up the sub count somebody. You get a free rush, right? I mean, that's a situation that can happen. Let's say I up the sub count of Rosé, I land that green card on him, I threw a random green from close range, or I caught them on a sidestep, I have a green card on my Dragon Ball, boom, boom, boom. You rush Rosé, you kill him. Obviously, it's not a situation that's that common, but it is a situational green. It's not great compared to Frieza's. It's pretty mediocre, but it's not the worst thing in the world, right? It's just
instances where I'm green carding with Goku, and then like I can't do anything because the enemy obviously knows I'm going to chain a card. He just switches to a cover change character. Like it's just whenever you have these characters that have those melee-based green cards, I feel like 90% of the time they're just not good enough.
They need to
Because
make
when you compare a lot of these melee-based green cards to stop-time green cards or AoE green cards or any of those other types of green cards, long-range priority gaining green cards,
hear that sidestep in your ear.
Like, they're not doing enough to warrant actually using the green card. Like, we saw this issue with the Yellow Super Saiyan 4 Goku. They gave the Zenkai Yellow Super Saiyan 4 Goku. They gave him a buff on his Zenkai.
Green card.
For using that green card, he gets advantage back when you hit the green card. I would argue it's still not good enough. The only way you can really make Goku
it's good up for like second man, last
and comparable to Frieza's, because Frieza's green card is crazy good. Is to give Goku cover on that. I know he already gains an extra level of card draw speed. Maybe he just straight up draws a card as well. Like, maybe you give him cover null on green card activation, and then he draws a strike card.
Goku's green card is better if it's just
pretty good.
You get a green,
they sort of gave him like pseudo cover null with it too, because they gave him
green into blue.
What is it?
That's
the enemy
like it's predictable, but like it's
so
still
you
a card.
Technically chain together like 1 or 2 cards after using that green card, but he needed more. He definitely needed more on that.
I agree.
And then I think the biggest problem with this character, just across everything, even the Frieza side suffers from this as well, is just their defensive utility is not nearly good enough. I think the Rising Rush nullification is an interesting tool, but here's where this character really could have been amazing. I mean, they are amazing, I would argue right now, but this character really could have been at the level where they should have been if they did this. And that's just to give them some sort of additional defensive utility, whether it's more disrupt, whether it's just more bulk, whether it's, anything like that. And the reason why that's important for this character is because it pairs so well with their Rising Rush counter.
I agree they need more disrupt because they don't have enough. Their best disrupt isn't even like a mid-combo disrupt, right? Besides their cover change. Their best disrupt is green card from Frieza who seals strikes. But durability, this unit has equivalent defenses to Ultra Kid Buu on their stat spread. So I just hard disagree. Like, as a number basis, the same cut, the better healing, because Kid Buu only heals on gauge and main. Tag unit will heal like 60 to 100k per card done if you have like chilled bench, because you're going to run chilled bench because that's a Zenkai buff for them. You're going to Zenkai buff the tag unit. 400k on like tag out, 300k, something like that. So they have more durability than Kid Buu, maybe less defensive. Actually, Kid Buu's defensive utility doesn't really exist either. They have their durability definitely isn't a problem. They need disrupt, I agree with that, but durability wise, no, that's hard to disagree there. They have 190k strike defense at peak, like peak, and I had them peak. I would know, I fucking run them. I think that's a little bit of a iffy situation, but disrupt, I agree, they did need
this
more.
Character cannot counter a Rising Rush if the enemy's cover nulling and they switch in on a cover change. This character can't nullify Rising Rush if the enemy PVs them and then rushes them right away. This character can't nullify a Rising Rush if they attack the enemy and then the enemy overrides their attack with a Rising Rush. There's a lot of instances where this character can't counter Rising Rushes, but the biggest and easiest way to counter a Rising Rush for this character is you just have them eat a combo, right?
Yeah.
So if the enemy's comboing you and you cover change with Goku and Frieza, from that point forward, after this character gets hit with a card, in that same combo, they cannot be Rising Rush, of course, unless their gauge is depleted at that point. But the problem is they can't eat hits. You can't do that because they just can't survive a lot of the time.
I've done it.
I have defense ever.
I'm the proof. I don't know. I just disagree completely.
Character, but
again,
when you compare this character to like Ultra Rose,
90k strike
Ultra
defense.
Kid Buu, even Ultra Hit or Ultra Gogeta Blue, who has the defensive unique gauge, like this character is not eating damage. This character is not surviving combos as well as those other units are, and that in turn I think makes their Rising Rush nullification, which is supposed to be their greatest asset, it makes it a little bit underwhelming as opposed to I think how they envisioned it working out. So if they would have given this character like, what if it was like every time they got hit they reduce the enemy key by like 15 or 20 or something like that, just something not massive, like they destroy 2 cards every time they get hit or something. Like, no, I'm not talking about something crazy. All they needed was maybe like 10% more damage cut on cover change or on just entry or whatever,
per card,
and then maybe some kind of disrupt. I know they already have disrupt when an ally is defeated. I think it's they destroy cards and lock the main ability for a few counts, but they need that all the time. They do. They really they need that, and then I think at that point it pairs up so well. This character would defensively would pair up so well with their Rising Rush disruption ability that it would make this unit a lot better. But I think as it stands right now, I am pretty comfortable with them at number 8 on the list. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning of this segment, I'm going on for like 10 minutes now. This character, I think you could interchange with slots 7 and 6 on my list.
Okay.
And if you
I'm
wanted
curious,
to put him at
7 and
number
6.
5 as high as that, I would say fine. I wouldn't really argue against it. But I have them at number 8 on my list, again, entirely based off of just my experience using this character. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't have a lot of experience fighting this character. I just don't. I just don't run into them. Anniversary headlining character, you just don't run into him. I'm not sure if that's just people are afraid of using this character against Kid Buu and Rose, because that's really all you see. But unfortunately, that's just the reality of how I've experienced this. It's just, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they handle this character moving forward. But number 8 is Goku and Frieza. Let's move on to number 7. Okay, number 7 is Beast Go.
Me personally, I think Beast is Beast 7 for me? Yeah, no, Beast 7 for me. No, wait, no, 17 was 7 for me. No, yeah. Beast was, I don't fucking remember. No, Beast was 7? I think so. I don't know. I agree. Nonetheless, 6, 7, it doesn't fucking matter. I think 6, 7. Yes, I agree with that. Beast here, yes, movies has gone down value. They don't have a third unit. Pan does not do damage. Pan does not stop X or Y situation. I've explained this a billion times already. Yes, B7, I agree. Number 6.
Number 6, we have the new Jiren, the transform.
Jiren. So he said Goku Frieza could swap 8, 7, 6, right? I mean, yeah, I just had them together at 6 at that rate, if you were going to swap them. But Jiren at 6, I personally have Jiren at 5, which I don't think is a far gap at all. I assume LS17 has to be next, right? I personally have Jiren at 5 because of his coverage for Rev UI, for everything he can do already. I think having him 6 here, I'm not going to debate it. I don't argue against it. I think it makes sense. I do think Jiren is better than 17 right now, but when we get to 17, we'll get there. No, 6 is fine. I have him 5, but 6. 1 off placement doesn't matter to me. Like a 5 off with my Goku Frieza being, 4 or 5 and then his being 8 type of thing. That I'll touch on more details. But this here, if it's 1 or 2 off, what does it matter? It's 1 or fucking 2 off. Who cares at that rate, right? It doesn't make sense. Number 5, let us see.
Big 4. Okay, number 5, we have LF Android.
As I called it, I disagree. Not to the first extent. I do think Jiren is better, but I want to hear some reasonings on this.
17. Over the course of the past week or so since the anniversary starts, week and a half, I think it's pretty apparent how valuable this unit has become, and honestly just has been since release. I literally think I've used this character in.
How has the anniversary made it more valuable? I'm curious because Jiren, blue yellow. Is that it? I'm genuinely curious. Is that it? I assume that's it, because I don't know what else would be, the buff to him, rather. Is that it? Probably that's it.
Every single video, if not almost every single video.
That's why I use it.
He's just too good not to use. Even with how many Rosés are running around, I don't really have a problem just throwing this guy on any team. Right. Just throw him on leader of any team. Boom. It's just the versatility this guy brings to the table with the support, with the healing, with the debuffing on the opponent when they use blue or ultimates. Double vanish gauge, stalling, the cover notification of ability, the long combos. It just keeps going on and on. Support, he's just too good. And I think, again, looking back at his release, they did a really good job of building the Universe Rep new tag off of this character. And
maybe one release wasn't very good around this time.
I think he's a really well-designed unit, potentially number 1 ever designed character in the game. Just best designed character of all time in this game, potentially.
Wow. Okay, that's praise.
And I definitely expect this character to age really well. This character has been so useful and so valuable.
Age well, I agree.
Have been considering
best design is a lot of praise.
Boost. I actually have yet to use any arts boost material on any character because I really want to see how part 2 and part 3 of the anniversary play out. But I just feel like it's not you're not gonna have a better unit to invest your arts boost material in than this character. The amount of value this character has and will continue to have for a long time,
I don't know
about
that.
It's just too high to ignore. I mean, if you choose this character to invest your arts material in, you're not doing yourself a disservice. You're not making a mistake. This is just, again, a character that will seemingly be around for a very, very long time. Very, very much like future Gohan was for a long time. So I have this character number 5.
Okay.
Let's move on to the top 4.
Okay.
All right, coming in at number 4, we have...
I don't really know the point to debate on that. It's just you're just gassing him. All right, I guess I don't agree that you'll be like the god of gods for like the perfect aging unit in the world, but like I think he'll age pretty well. Yeah, I don't really have an opinion further than that. Number 4, UGB. Again, I would have UGB number 5. Once again, movies goes down because how do you deal with Goku Frieza? Who deals with the Frieza variant? Nobody on movies. Oh my god, that's a dilemma they have to deal with. Jiren is free at that point. Yada yada yada. Once again, if you want to see an explanation of that, go to my tier list video. But number 4, I have number 5. Again, a one-off difference does not make any crumb of, I don't know, care for me, to be honest. If you have a unit one differential than one spot, it doesn't matter. There's some unit that's like, okay, I would be a little bit more like pushy on it, but UGB is not going to be one of them. Most units here are not going to be one of those units that's like, I need them there. Again, it's more Goku Frieza that's like my thing at this one, but yeah, no, UGB, I'd have 5. He's 4 here. No difference to me. Let's see number 3. That rhymed.
Okay, so I'm just going to make the same exact comment I made during last...
My king. Hit. The recent fraud hit. Hit, personally, I have number 1 because Unireps got a lot of buffs. They got new coverage here with blue and purple of Goku and Frieza. Even more than that, they got, very bulky Jiren, who runs very well with Hit as well. And Kaiwei actually is a very good support. Green-red, also coverage there, right? But I think Hit is number 1. I think Time Skip's very good. I think his very best move is Time Skip, and he is definitely carried by it, but his damage output, regardless of that, is still very nice. And him having better allies than he just did have is bumping him up, in my opinion. He also got buffs on equips because he got some new equips as well. One new equip, but that's a good buff to Hit, right? He doesn't have very good options. But nonetheless, I think he's number 1. I'm actually curious the reasonings here why he's number 3 instead of higher.
Month's
but
list.
He did mention he runs the Kid Buu and Rose
here.
more, so
you
they're
can
probably higher.
Kid Buu or Rose number 1 on the list. I don't really care. They're all worthy of being number 1, I think. My order is going to be Hit at number 3.
Oh, you can put any? Okay, cool.
Again, you want to put him at number 1?
Great.
Fine. I don't have an issue with that.
Woo! Number 1.
Hit has definitely gained a lot of value since the anniversary has started. Honestly, I guess yeah, it has been since the anniversary because we have the Goku and Frieza and the Jiren and the Universe Rep support has come out. And then again, Kid Buu is just, if you're in the Japanese queue and you don't fight Kid Buu 2 times in a row, you should go buy a lottery ticket because that's how uncommon it is.
That means Hit should be like 2 then.
The reason why I have Hit at number 3 and not number 2 or 1 it's just when you compare him to Rose and Kid Buu, I think Rose and Kid Buu...
They do more. I agree, they do more.
They're just more degenerate units.
Unirep's just better
they
team.
They require essentially 0 thought whatsoever. You just press...
All right, listen. I love to hate on other units and, like, simp Hit here, but, like... Hit does not require brain cells either, brother. You time skip at 140 counts, you get a free kill. That shit's no... You get a free vanish back, a free kill... all of your swaps, because you lowered sub count by a bajillion, you wasted your timer counts to get your sub counts down if you already had some. Yeah, no, what the hell? Was that just a fluff that passed by me? What the fuck? Hit does not require brain cells. He's probably the most brain dead Ultra. Like, Kid Buu's there, because, like, the AoE green, I get it, but, like, Hit is probably the most brain dead Ultra. Ironically enough, UGB is probably, like, the most brain cells taking Ultra. Maybe Rose, but, like, it's probably UGB. That's, like, meta Ultras, top 5 type shit, but... Yeah, no, Hit does not require brain cells. Don't worry about
rectangles that appear on the bottom of your screen, and that's the game. Whereas with Hit, it takes at least a little bit of effort, a little bit of thought to actually
I
the unit correctly. So I don't know. They're all stupid. They're all crazy.
There you go.
I think
that's more accurate.
Hit. I think one of the biggest things with this character that people don't really understand is how good defensively he is. The healing.
Yes.
That's one of the most powerful effects.
Somebody.
Like every time he uses a card and gets a card used against him,
3%.
Like that's really
3% is a
lot. One of the only characters in the game. Do I want to say he's the only character in the game? What other character in the game can really like stand up to Kid Buu? Jiren? I guess. Jiren gets kind of trounced by Kid Buu. Like Kid Buu just.
I think Kid Buu does better though because Gage
and covering out the green card for like 80 cards in a row and you just die.
Just can't do enough.
Cell? I don't really know. I guess yeah. Red Cell and this Hit are really the only units
that can do okay against Kid Buu.
Kid Buu combos this Hit and this Hit doesn't really care at all.
Yeah.
He's the only in the game I think that could that can happen to. Like Kid Buu literally having no effect on this character. That's really that matters a lot. That does. So
spit bestie. I run to no Kid Buu.
Have him at number 3. Like, you want to put him at number 2? I have no problem with that. You want to put him at number 1? I have 0 problems with that either. So let's move on to number 2. All right, number 2 is going to be Ultra Rose Goku Black.
So my assumption is Kid Buu is number 1. Rose, I have him number 2, I think, actually. So, yeah, no, I agree. I want to hear Kid Buu, though. I'm curious why he's number 1. I have him 3, because I have Rose and hit Red Green, shockingly, as 1 and 2. So I want to hear Kid Buu, actually.
Okay, number 1 is going to be Ultra
Why is this the case? Besides, he runs into him. Details, you know?
I don't really have anything to say here.
Oh, all right, well.
Every match, you fight this character, and you guys know how he operates now. I guess once
again, just to point out, the NAQ, and I don't know, I've been BR70 for like a couple of days here, and the season's kind of new. And, you know, because of all the videos I'm doing. I don't run to a lot of Kid Buus. I'll definitely run to more Rosés, UGBs, and hits. Yes, even a hit now because he has returned. And everyone in the fucking NAQ has summoned for him. Apparently every fucking person in the world, because I run into so many. And he terrifies me, then I get a lot of frauds. But, you know, sometimes they terrify me. I definitely run to Kid Buu the least. Which, again, the whole point of this, the beginning I've mentioned it, the Q gap is crazy. This is probably the most diverse Q it's been from NA to JP to EU. It's more JP and EU close together in like what they're running. But NA to JP or EU is so vast. Again, you're running into UD reps 24/7 just like me if you're in NA. If you're in EU, you run into this little rat, you run into Rosé, you run into double 17s a lot. You run into a lot durable setups because it's more passive play than other Qs. I'm not sure why. It genuinely just is a lot more passive play than other Qs. NAQ, I guess people just go fucking wild. You know, I play like a fucking idiot too, so it makes sense. But for the experience, I can't agree with Kid Buu because I don't run into him enough. I don't run him enough. Because there's so many hits, it's hard to run Kid Buu if you even did want to run Kid Buu, right? So, especially because Blues Monster's not really, like, he's not even in the top 10. So, Blues Monster's not even a good, you know, enough unit to run alongside Kid Buu as like a coverage because he does nothing besides be blue. Doesn't do anything else but exist. Nonetheless, though, let me hear more.
Advantage you could slightly give Kid Buu over Rosé is the fact that he probably operates as a slightly better leader slot character. Just due to his endurance, and you not really needing to have like a Rising Rush control character on your team with this character in the leader slot.
Kid Buu's
actually one team I fought a decent amount.
Fair.
I kind of don't really understand why people are using this team as much as they are, but Kid Buu on hybrids has become a pretty
I run that to a little bit
like common thing that I fight.
I don't get it.
It's Kid Buu, Pan, and Beast.
I don't get it either. I don't think it's really good.
You know, you just slap a bunch of good characters together and that it works because
yeah, exactly. That's kind of why I don't get it.
Right. The reason why I don't really like that setup is because the entire allure of playing the hybrid team is so that you can abuse their ridiculously overpowered equips.
Yeah,
right?
you don't get
Isn't that the whole reason why you play hybrids? So, as good as Kid Buu is, throwing him on the team kind of hurts that objective. But I guess it doesn't matter when you have this character that just presses green card and that's a dead unit.
I guess because you spawn greens from Pan Death, from Pan Main.
Yeah,
that's why you run them.
This character has
the
only card that is able to rival Rosé's blue card in terms of how annoying and stupid and overpowered it is, which is his green card.
Thing is, Rosé's is
Rosé's blue card. You guys know how much I hate it. This Kid Buu's green card is like neck and neck with that.
This is worse. This is definitely worse.
It's just ridiculous.
You get two green cards in a combo with Gageful.
These ultra characters have
I mean?
win
that's just cancer.
Like literally every single ultra character.
He's definitely most cancer ultra.
So we're clearly getting an ultra in part 3 of this anniversary, right? I would expect, most people are expecting it's going to be Ultra Vegeta Blue. I would expect whoever it is to also have an I win button. I win.
What would
his green card? I don't know. What does his green card do?
Like,
destroy 7 Dragon Balls that you have? Is that what it's going to be? I win. Like, I don't know, man. We'll see. But Kid Buu is just
he doesn't like him very much.
I don't know. I'd rather not fight this character in a match, but it is what it is. So there's the list. Let's go through the top 10 again, just quickly to recap. Tag 4 is number 10. We have Rival UI Goku at number 9. We have Goku and Frieza at number 8. We have LF Beast Gohan number 7. We have Yellow Transforming Full Power Jiren number 6. We have LF Android 17 at number 5. We have Ultra Vegeta Blue at number 4. We have Ultra Hit at number 3. We have Ultra Rose at number 2, and then we have Ultra Kid Buu at number 1. Let me know down below.
Most part, I agree with most. I don't agree with mostly everything. I was going to say that. understand a lot. Again, Goku Frieza, I personally don't understand, but again, this is just, the experiences are different. That's just the simplest way to explain it. Is his experience of facing and not facing, seemingly, Goku Frieza is a lot different from my experience of facing them every fucking match, every fucking video, and running them for like 15 different videos straight, you know? So the experience gap there just exists. Even more so than that, if you're running into this hellish yellow and this hellish green, who, shockingly, the yellow counters the purple, the green counters the blue, and they're running together, yeah, Goku Frieza is going to be lower for you. That's just common sense, right? So me running into not really any Kid Boos, not that many Rosés that are paired with like a good yellow. I'm not running into like Rosé Jiren often, right? Like as a setup, I'm running into one Ultra, then slapped on Unireps, or two Ultras, but it's not the two Ultras. It's UGB and Rosé. It's Kid Buu and a hit. Like, I'm not running into this setup of what he's running into, yellow-green, which clearly stops Goku Frieza, right? So I understand his perspective of that, but I just don't agree with that because my experience has not been the same as his, to where they get fucked over because they exist as X color, right? Again, if they were red-purple, it'd be better off. They'd probably be like number 5 here, but they are not red-purple. They are blue-purple, or purple-blue, rather. Yeah, nonetheless, besides that, I understand everything. LS17, a little bit of glazing, but I understand the situation for him to be higher up. Maybe 5 is a little bit high for me, personally. But, because individually, he's just a lot worse than Beast. It's just how it is. But, you know, team gap does exist, so I get why he's high up as number 5 there. But, you know, everything else, pretty understandable, pretty acceptable, especially 10 and 9. I do like 10 and 9 very much, because those are kind of underrated units. I think the 4s are very underrated. Rev UI definitely is underrated right now. And everything else moving forward, again, just Goku Frieza, I disagree. If he says Hit, Rosé, Kid Buu could all swap for 1, well, I can't disagree, because I agree with that. If you were to say any of those 3 were number 1, I would probably just be like, all right, sure, why not? But I personally have Hit, right? Then I have Rosé second, then I have Kid Buu third. Just the experience differential on the queue. But what do you guys think of my reaction to Goresh's top 10 list of part 1 of the 5th anniversary? I'll see you guys in the next one.